Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Welcome, the Mayor of Kapiti to Beach FM. I'll get there eventually, Guru. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, John, and good morning, listeners.
I tell you what, there's a bit on at the moment, isn't there?
Well, I think the Dom Post headline today is something to do with the heap of pain that's been delivered.
And indeed, a lot of anxiety as well in the community.
Yeah, because I think things are moving quite rapidly.
Yes, indeed.
And I must say that the Prime Minister's release of the sort of 4 levels of alert, 4 levels is actually very good. Because, what it does is it gives us stages, but the stages are not set in concrete. There is a certain amount of organic development between the stages. Like, for instance, we are at level 2, but you know that the Wellington councils, including, and we had worked with Korofenoa to take our own positions to close libraries, museums, and council facilities. Those are actually level 3 restrictions. So,
that's a very good point. So, and by the way,
the doctors have taken on the non-face-to-face primary care consultations.
Yes, indeed.
That's level 3 restriction.
Yes, indeed.
So there's some organic ability for us to move into those particular areas without carte blanche having to adopt a whole lot of things.
And interesting to see that you had a joint press release with Bernie Wandin, the Mayor of the Horowhenua, indicates that there's a fair bit of work going on behind the scenes with the councils cooperating with each other.
Tremendous amount of work. I mean, yesterday I had, the Chief Executive and myself had a telephone conferencing with Brendan Duffy, who was Chair of the District Health Board, the northern part. We had Mid-Central Health people, the Chief Executive of Palmerston North City, and so a number of other officials with us. So working, because you must realize that part of our district, Peka northward, belongs to Mid-Central.
Yes.
So we are working with them on that side. And we've had one telephone conference already with people on the south first. And today we're having another conference with the mayors and chief executive of the Wellington region.
Right, and I see that Wellington has gone well down the track. They've done a number of things, including apparently they're working on their emergency response plan to make sure that the homeless don't fall between the cracks in this time. Do we have an emergency response plan in Kapiti, Guru?
Well, we've got a business recovery plan in operation straight away, and also our welfare team is starting to has been working a couple of weeks now, trying to connect all the organizations and stuff. Now, here is really interesting to note that, some volunteer groups pop up, but it's imperative that the volunteer groups know 2 things. One is they are all aware for the need to vet who the volunteers are, and so there must be a process for that.
Yes, absolutely.
And the other thing, of course, the volunteers must be well-versed in the sort of personal hygiene side. Because you don't want them to be receiving infections or transmitting the infection to others.
And a very good point. We've got to look after those wonderful people who are volunteering. I'm thinking about Sophie Hanford's group. I hope to talk to Sophie later on this week. But you would have to think that those young people have got to be kept safe as well as they go about the very good work of delivering to people who have been isolated.
That's right. And so we've got Age Concern, which has been working over a year now on community connectedness. We have the neighborhood support group. We have the New Zealand community patrols. We need to knit all these people together. Even we've got the Green Street program that we ran a number of streets.
Yes.
So there's a grassroots response. Now, in this type of situations, we are caught between 2 things. One is the need for centralized command systems that can marshal resources and discipline people and establish the stages, which has happened in Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and the extreme case, of course, is China.
Yes.
you need that, but at the same time, you need the type of Kiwi ingenuity in terms of community connectedness, neighborliness, and all these sort of things to work at the same time.
Do you think this is a role for council to make sure that those volunteer groups are coordinated, they know about each other, and that they're not tripping over each other's toes sort of thing, that you could be a point of communication and coordination?
That's right. It's a facilitating role we've got. We've got, over the years, for decades, we've built up a community network with different volunteer organizations. We've got that. At the same time, we've got to be nimble enough to respond to the creative people who come up with some creative ideas, to be able to also help them have the key, like there's two things I told you about, protocols around health and hygiene and security vetting.
Now, we've got a council meeting coming up on Thursday. I see cabinet ministers putting into practice physical distancing, as half of them are doing it via video conference. What is the status with Thursday's meeting? Is it going to be open to the public? And are you in a position to have virtual meetings anyway?
Well, I think we are working rapidly towards that. I mean, for a start, the layout in the council chambers will provide the distance between attendees. And for that to happen, we will not be accepting public gallery, people to sit in the public gallery.
Okay.
But we'll have the live streaming of it. And if people are wanting to give submissions, they can be outside and they can come in for it and then leave.
Oh, okay.
And also, we've got problems in terms of statutory requirements on quorums. So therefore, we need a certain amount of elected members to be split around the table.
To be physically present.
That's right. But those areas may change because the Department of Internal Affairs is working on the local government New Zealand's behalf to try and spot those needs, technical needs or statutory needs for the number of people you need for quorum.
Seems pretty archaic these days.
Yeah, but there are other ways around it in terms of you can have, for council meetings, you are very strict quorum. We can have the committees delegated to make those responsibilities. We can also create very small committees of the chief executive, the mayor, and maybe two other councillors to do those sort of things. But those are tools we need to work on very quickly.
You have got some pretty sophisticated audio-visual gear in the council room there. Can you envisage some, not only virtual meetings, but also virtual democracy, in that quite a few people have got cameras and they've got microphones, and there are programs such as Skype and others that possibly could be employed so that people could be completely safe and yet still contributing to an active democracy?
Yeah, and I think this what's happened with this coronavirus is turbocharged the virtual democracy side. But you would know that even we are looking at moving substantial number of our staff to be working from home.
Yes.
But for that, you need hardware. And therefore, I think, given that the whole country, all businesses are looking towards there would be a run on computers, laptops and stuff like that from retailers.
So you don't have enough laptops at the moment to do it for most of your staff?
Yeah, plus also we have to depend on your private computers, which can be rejigged technically to allow the connections to happen.
Because you've got quite secure connections, don't you?
That's right. And
yes.
But we need to know also that some of the business that we run from here needs security.
Oh, yes.
Documents are highly confidential
Absolutely.
documents, so these cannot be taken out. And so there needs to be some kind of tracking system on the information too. So there's a whole lot of stuff to think about.
Indeed.
And I must commend my chief executive and staff, senior staff, and all the staff who are working really, really hard in this area.
I bet.
And some of our key areas are like the people say, "Oh, we're having this crisis. What's your council doing?" You know, if we can provide our water supply, our wastewater treatment, and the solid waste treatments and all that, these are basic services that we need to keep going. And I can tell you that some of the staff have gone beyond the call of duty to be able to man those things, because some of the skills needed to run this are highly sought after and very limited. So we need to ensure that they're not only healthy in themselves, their families are healthy, but they can turn up for work and do the job that they need to do.
I imagine some of that expertise exists within bodies that are over the age of 70 as well. Does that present an issue for the council?
Well, I think they are far in between in terms of the council staff. But if you look at for many years, medical services have been provided by a lot of people who are seniors, particularly doctors. So that's one of the areas that we need to protect. And I must say that that's another area, the front coalface, in terms of managing this, the number of people who come for treatment or needed testing or consultations in this area. The medical staff who are facing this, and I really commend them for the work that they're doing in the coalface.
Absolutely. I think that the upcoming flu jab season is going to be quite a challenge for some of our medical practices. I know I'm getting mine on Saturday, and we're going across to the community centre in Ocean Road, and apparently there's going to be 2 people in the community centre at one time. So that's the way they're managing that. But so we've got to be very creative about this. But I'd like to take it back to the water and the sewerage, etc.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's the bread and butter stuff that we expect from councils? But I think that councils are going to be expected to come up with assurance, leadership, and be able to reassure that we have a capable hand in control and that we have local resources we can depend on. That must be part of local government as well.
Well, one of the things that I'm glad that we never joined a regional organisation in this area.
Indeed.
That we've been insular. We've kept our skilled staff here.
Yes.
And who know the staff, and we have kept them.
Indeed. So we obviously live in interesting times. It is possible that I may try and contact you later in the week because things are just moving so rapidly at the moment.
Feel free to do that at any time.
Thank you.
I must. At the end of the day, the catchword that's going out is we are in this together.
We are.
I know over the years that I've lived here that the Kiwi spirit is indomitable. That we can do this.
And we will. Thank you very much for joining us, Guru. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
All the best. That is Mayor K.Gurunathan from the Kapiti Coast District Council.
106.3 Beach FM.